Okay, hello, Matt.
Hello, Todd.
Matt, I'm going to ask you some questions about pets.
Okay.
First question, do you have a pet?
Yes, at my mom's house we have three pets, 2 dogs and a cat. My family actually raises dogs for helping blind people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Like, how do they train the dogs?
How do they train the dogs? Well, I mean, it's a long process, right? I mean, we get them when they're puppies, and so we train them basic, sit, come, really basic things. And then after they're about 2 years old, they go to different training school.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Why? How many dogs do they usually train at a time?
Just one. We have our own dog, and then we have a dog that we have that we're training.
Okay.
Yeah, just one dog at a time.
Do you ever see the dogs you train, like out on the street or anything?
Sometimes we see them. They'll have like, sort of conventions of, or reunions of the pets, and so yeah, you get to see them every once in a while.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's cool. Why do people keep pets?
I guess the most important thing is companionship, right? So there's somebody always there for you that will like you no matter what.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, besides cats, dogs, and fish, what are some other pets people keep?
Well, I guess if you're Siegfried and Roy, you can keep a tiger or a lion. I guess all types of things, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, my friend has a snake, or I don't know if you mentioned that, snake and ferrets and insects, spiders, all kinds of things.
All right. Yeah, there's so many. What are some costs associated with keeping a pet?
Food is probably the biggest cost, but also if you keep the dog, particularly the dog, in your house, and when they're puppies, and we have a lot of puppies, they'll chew up everything they can.
Yeah.
So we're replacing shoes and cleaning up pee from the carpet and things like that. So it can be a hassle.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot, Matt. And by the way, where are you from?
I'm from the USA, from Minnesota.
Okay, great. Thanks, Matt. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Todd.
We're going to talk about Australia, or you're going to talk about Australia. So, first of all, how many people live in Australia?
Australia? Oh, there's about 20 million people living in Australia right now. A little bit under, a bit close to 20.
Okay. What are the biggest cities?
The biggest city is Sydney. Then it's followed by Melbourne, and then Brisbane. And then I think it's Perth. But most of the big cities are on the east coast of Australia. And there's Perth is on the west coast, but it's sort of out there by itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you had to live in one place, where would you live?
I like Brisbane. I had my teenage years in Brisbane, growing up in Brisbane. Or maybe Sydney, because it's a big city. But Brisbane's got the Gold Coast and the sunshine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thanks. Actually, what is the capital city of Australia?
Canberra is the capital city, but it's not the biggest city.
Okay.
Sydney is the biggest city. Canberra was made sort of by the politicians, so Sydney wouldn't get too crowded. It's a separate territory. Yeah.
Have you been to all the major cities in Australia?
I've been to Melbourne when I was young, but yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Only short time in Perth.
Okay. What's the best thing about Australia?
Best thing about Australia, probably the friendly people, relaxed attitude, and we like visitors.
Okay.
Other cultures. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
How are Australians different than other people? How are they unique?
How are Australians unique? I would say that we're more fun-loving, maybe, or accepting of other people. And we don't mind, making new friends and actually conversing with other people.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's nice. Okay, thanks a lot, Michael.
No worries.
Okay.
Devin, I've been putting on a few pounds, and you're quite a lean, fit guy.
Well, thank you.
What do you recommend? Like, what can I do to lose weight?
Well, I exercise a lot. I go running at least 3 times a week, but More than that, I enjoy playing sports. And so, different sports use different muscles, and all of it helps to lose that weight that you might have gained.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the problems is I actually exercise a lot.
Do ya?
Yeah, so maybe it's my diet.
It could be. And so in that case, you might want to eat something perhaps more nutritious.
Yeah.
Or maybe even less of what you do eat.
Yeah.
Maybe I eat 3 meals a day, and I try not to snack in between.
Yeah.
No potato chips, no popcorn, no candy bars.
That's pretty tough.
It is tough, but, well, I must admit I cheat every once in a while, but...
Okay, I'll give it a try. Okay, actually, see, my problem is I like junk food.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to choose, either I eat less or I eat a better diet.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is more important?
I think that if you're exercising, then you should just eat what you want and eat less.
Eat less?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is going to be tough.
Well, I have no doubt that you'll do the best that you can.
All right. Thanks a lot, David.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Ikebana, it's an art of flowers, and it's quite different from Western style of flower arrangement, because in Ikebana's theory, you can decorate one flower with only one flower.
Oh, really?
And the flower arrangement in Japan is not only decorate flowers, but it's an art with flowers and space, air between the flowers, and also the room and everything. It shows the space, or even the universe in that.
And what's another Japanese art?
Japanese art? Ikebana, tea ceremony.
Tea ceremony.
Tea ceremony.
Tell me about tea ceremony.
Tea ceremony. There's certain ways you have to make tea. Not only make tea, there's a certain way to, for example, wipe a bowl.
I see.
Yes, with one piece of cloth. And you need to learn how to fold the cloth so that you use each part of the cloth only once to wipe the bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a complicated traditional procedure in a sense. But
how do you learn that? Is that something that your mother would teach you, or how do people learn that?
No, there are some professionals for both flower arrangement and tea ceremony. So you need to go
to school.
Yes, and learn from your teacher and their hierarchy and the organization, and you need to pass each test to climb up the ladder in the hierarchy.
I see.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Carrie, I hear you have a new house.
Yes, I do.
Oh, so what's your new house like?
It's small, it's old, it's mostly wooden in the inside, has 2 bedrooms and a balcony off of those rooms, and downstairs there's a living room area and a tatami mat room, kitchen, bathroom.
Wow, so do you live in the tatami tatami room?
No, there's 2 tatami mat rooms. There's one upstairs and there's one downstairs. And I don't live in either. One we use as kind of a spare room, and the other one is my roommate's bedroom.
Okay. Oh, so you have a roommate?
Yes.
Okay. What's it like having a roommate?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I like living alone too, but sometimes it's nice to come home and have someone there. And my roommate gets home before I do, and she likes to cook, so often she's cooked dinner for me.
Wow, that's nice.
I know.
So you do all the cleaning?
Well, actually, now that you mention it, I do a lot of the cleaning, but no, not all of it.
Oh, okay. Well, what kind of things does she make you?
Last night she made curry. I think it was an Indian curry.
Oh, wow.
Tomato-based.
Spicy?
Yes.
Cool. All right, thanks a lot, Carrie.
You're welcome.
Okay, hello, Gabrielle.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Good, thanks.
Now, Gabrielle, I hear that you're going back home to New Zealand.
That's right. I'm going home for summer.
Okay, what are your plans?
Probably a week relaxing, going camping, and then I'm going back to work.
Oh, okay. Where do you work in New Zealand?
I teach as an English teacher in Christchurch in New Zealand.
Oh, okay. And that's where you're from, naturally.
That's right.
Were you born there?
I was, yeah.
Okay, well, you're going to have this short little break or vacation. You're going to go to the beach, go to the mountains?
Probably to the beach and camping for about a week with friends.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Actually, how warm is it in the summer in New Zealand?
Probably maximum of 30 degrees. So it's a nice dry heat.
Okay.
Yeah, very comfortable.
So when you go to the beach, is the water warm enough to swim in?
No. Well, we swim, but it's not warm. Yeah. It's pretty chilly, actually. But
okay.
Yeah.
Any other plans when you go home?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to catching up with friends and family and animals.
Animals?
I miss my pets.
Okay, well, what pets do you have?
Well, I have a cat and a dog and a sheep called Sydney and 2 goldfish. Actually.
Wow.
Yeah, and I really miss them.
Well, I'm sure they're really excited to see you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Okay, Charlotte, you've been a teacher for quite a while.
Yeah, I started about 3 years ago, and my first job was in Rzeszów in the east of Poland. I was promised that I wasn't going to have to teach any beginners or any little children because it was my first job, and I was promptly given the beginner infants. My first day of teaching, I was given a book which said, just go into the classroom and say hello to the children, and they'll all say hello back to you and wave. I walked into a class of 5 4-year-olds, followed by all their mothers and grandmothers. I said hello, and they all burst into tears. I spent half the lesson trying to get them to say hello to each other and stop them crying, while all the grandmothers stood round and stared at me. I finally finished off by singing the whatever Happy Princess song, all on my own, with crying infants to accompany me. It was one of the worst days of my life. I could identify with all the children, though, because I wanted to sit on the floor and cry with them by the end of it. I think that's when I realised that teaching kids was never going to be my vocation. I had some other classes as well, but quite soon after that I moved on to adults who cry slightly less. That was my first teaching experience, not the best.
Okay. Okay, Anne, you spent quite a bit of time in Australia recently, so why don't you talk about that?
I really liked living in Australia. I was an international student, and I studied education at the University of Sydney. And living in Sydney was fantastic because I could go to the beach anytime I wanted, and there was a great nightlife in Sydney. There were lots of great clubs. And people were very, very friendly and easygoing. and I met a lot of international people living in Sydney.
Mm-hmm. How long were you there?
I was there for almost a year.
Oh, okay.
And I traveled a little bit in Australia.
Okay.
I went up the east coast, up to Fraser Island, which is a World Heritage Site, and I saw dingoes running along the beach and sharks in the water. We climbed cliffs and went through a rainforest and went camping. And then we went up to the Whitsundays, which is a bit further north. And the further north you go in Australia, the hotter it gets. So we were able to go swimming in the ocean, and I went diving for the first time, but it was a little bit risky because I didn't have a diving license.
Oh.
So I went on an introductory dive, and I saw a giant clam that had a really spongy purple inside that I was able to touch. And then the clam closed up really quickly.
So did you lose your finger?
Almost.
Almost. You're lucky. It's funny, you go in the water and you think, you worry about sharks, not clams.
Exactly.
Will you be going back to Australia soon?
I'd like to go and live there for at least another year.
Mm-hmm.
Probably I'll go back to Sydney, or I might go down to Melbourne, because it's a really interesting cultural city. They have a lot of museums and parks.
Okay, you got to choose real quick. Only one city. Montreal or Sydney? Which do you choose?
Sydney, without a doubt.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Okay, Lee, you're from Zimbabwe. Could you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm from Harare, which is the capital of Zim, and I was born there. My folks are British. My dad's from Manchester and my mom's from Scotland, but they went out a long time ago. And growing up in Zimbabwe was lekker, as we say there. That means really cool in Afrikaans. It was lekker. You grow up in a big, open, free place with animals and sunshine, and it's just a really healthy place to be. Well, at least it was. Today it's not doing too well because the economy's crashed, but growing up there was really slick.
Wow. What animals could you see?
Just about an hour's drive out of any city, you're liable to come across just about anything. I've seen leopards often at night, about an hour out of the capital where I live. You see monkeys along the road, right up to the city outskirts. In certain areas, you'll have to stop for elephants. There's quite a few buck warning signs because they're actually quite dangerous at night. They jump across the road and your cars hit them at windscreen height. It is a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
So there's buck everywhere. And then away from residential areas, there's your big five: rhino, lion being the most interesting, I guess, for foreigners. But they're never really around human settlement because they're very, very dangerous. They do take people from time to time.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. All right, thanks a lot, Lee.
You're welcome, buddy. Okay.
Okay, Jamie, we're going to talk about movies.
Okay, great.
What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is kind of a heavy movie. It's called Sophie's Choice with Meryl Streep and Kevin Kline.
Okay.
It's a movie. It's set in World War II. Meryl Streep plays a Polish woman who has come to America, and she's met a man, Kevin Kline, who has a series of problems of his own, mostly psychological, which she's not 100% aware of. And she does a bunch of scenes where she thinks of the past and the very difficult decision she had while during the war, living in Poland. She had to decide between two children which one would be murdered by the Nazis and which one wouldn't. And obviously it's the ethical dilemma that she faced, that she had to make an immediate decision on, and affected her for the rest of her life.
Okay,
It's a fantastic movie. Not the story in itself. Of course, the story is brilliant, but the acting, the fact she speaks Polish, she speaks German, and she speaks English with a Polish accent, which is amazing. A writer who's actually a narrator through the movie as well. His character is great. And then Kevin Kline's basically a psycho character because he's a little bit deranged in itself. It's pretty neat. So all in all, the characters, the plot line, the movie, it's fantastic.
Okay, great. Sophie's Choice.
Sophie's Choice. I think actually won an Academy Award in 1985 or 84.
Okay, great. All right, thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
Okay, hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good.
What's your name?
My name is Kevin.
Kevin, and where are you from?
I'm from Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, nice.
In the United States.
Wow, were you born in Phoenix?
Actually, no. I was actually born in New York because my parents happened to be living in New York at that time. My father was a Major League Baseball player, and the year I was born, 1971, he was playing with the Mets in New York City, and my birthday is in May 25th to be precise, and so my mother happened to be with my father in New York because it was baseball season, so I was actually born in New York, but I grew up in Phoenix, so Phoenix is what I consider to be my hometown.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you remember anything about New York?
Yes, actually I do have a few memories because we spent probably years there. From the time I was born, obviously, until I was about 2.5 or 3 years old, we spent the summers or the baseball seasons in New York. And we rented a condominium on the second floor, and I remember it was right across the street from LaGuardia Airport. And so, of course, when I was a little kid, 1 and 2 years old, I used to love sitting by the kitchen windows, and I even remember it was a bay window, the kind where you can roll the window open.
Yeah.
And I used to roll the window open and just watch the airplanes take off and land all day.
Wow.
And
that's cool.
Another memory I have is the couple that lived below us was an elderly couple, and they acted pretty much like our grandparents. So I actually called them Grandma and Grandpa. And Grandma Stevenson used to give me a bath in her kitchen sink because I was so small.
Wow.
That she would actually give me a bath in her kitchen sink, and I remember that as well.
Wow, those are good memories. Okay, we're back with Gina. Do you want to talk about your summer vacation?
Sure.
Okay.
I went to Las Vegas, Nevada, Reno, Nevada, Tahoe, California, and San Diego, California, and went to Disneyland.
Wow, sounds like a really good time.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun.
What was the best place?
Probably Las Vegas.
Uh-huh.
It was the most interesting.
Okay, why was it the most interesting?
It was just really busy, and there was always stuff going on, never resting.
Okay. For example, what stuff was going on? Like, what did you do?
Well, we went shopping a lot in a lot of different casinos that had malls in them.
Uh-huh.
Went and visited the Hoover Dam.
Oh, wow.
It's
pretty big.
Yeah, really big.
That's a lot of water. Did you go swimming?
No.
No. Can you swim in the Hoover Dam?
You can swim in the reservoir.
I mean, in the reservoir.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. How did Las Vegas?
By plane from Oakland to Las Vegas.
Okay, how long did it take?
About an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay. Do you think you'll go back to Las Vegas someday in the future?
Hopefully.
Okay. Great. Thanks a lot, Gina.
Welcome.
So JJ, I hear you've got a good living arrangement.
I love it. And of course, you know, like any person, I was a little bit leery about living with roommates, but at the same time I thought living in a foreign country, I didn't want to isolate myself completely, especially since I don't speak the language. And I first met Jessica at the airport, and when we were close to tears from laughing so hard on the train ride from the airport to Matsudo Station, I realized this was going to be a good living arrangement. And we got here, and the Brits had taken one half of the apartment, and so we Americans moved into the other half and have gotten along brilliantly. Even the little squabbles that tend to come up seem to be solved fairly quickly, maturely, and I love it. This is the best living arrangement I've ever had. At the same time, I think it's kind of something that can be expected when you come to teach abroad. It takes a certain kind of person to decide to leave everything familiar behind and meet new people, have new experiences. You're not taping any of this, are you?
No, I am actually. Thanks a lot, JJ.
Yeah, look at them all lean in as they want to hear this story. It starts out sickeningly sweet. I was in a musical, Cinderella, and I was Cinderella. And the guy who played the prince and I started to date. And we got pretty serious, and then he was trying to get rid of an ex who kept bothering him, and so he decided to come to Japan to teach English, and we, all during the summer, we had plans, you know, I would come and visit, and all that kind of stuff. We were really excited about it, and he was a model at the agency, and at the same agency where I was an actor, and so we had the same agent. He went to Japan and was teaching. We were writing back and forth, looking forward to seeing you, all that kind of stuff. And I was having lunch with my agent one day and telling her that I had started taking Japanese and I had been planning out my trip and I was very excited about this whole thing. And she says, JJ, I don't know how to tell you this. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what? And she says, yeah, Richard's ex-girlfriend flew out to Japan and they got married.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Married. And
oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you feel?
It's like I needed a ladder to get on a piece of paper, really. I mean, it was a devastating, you know, that first broken love kind of thing, but.
Did you hear from him afterwards?
Yeah, we were always just friends, apparently. Yeah, and so not only the adding the insult to the industry.
Yeah.
Is that what I meant? Yeah. Insult to injury was him saying that we were always just friends.
Okay, Victor, tomorrow you're flying home.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so are you afraid of flying?
No, flying's fine.
Really? Back home for your job, do you fly?
No, I drive to work and to different assignments.
Okay, you never have to like fly to go to conventions or other cities or stuff like that?
Once or twice each year I do fly to go to conventions connected with my work.
Okay. Now tomorrow you have a really long flight.
That's correct.
It's probably about 15 hours?
From Narita to Washington, D.C. is 12 hours in the air.
Wow. So how do you pass the time on the plane?
On the plane, I like to sleep as much as possible.
Okay. Do you take medication, or you just have a beer? Or?
No, I don't take any medication. I just, I tend to stay up late the day before so that I'm so tired I will want to sleep on the plane.
Well, good strategy, and I hope you have a good flight.
Thank you very much.